I've got a concrete floor in my building. What floor coating should I put down?
Unfortunately, Matthew, that's probably the wrong question to ask first off. Typically speaking, when somebody asks what type of floor they should put in their building, we need to kind of back up and evaluate what they really are going after. For instance, is the concrete new or old? Is it damaged? Is it spalled out? Do we have any traction issues, moisture issues? Is there anything that's going to impact the adhesion of the coatings we're going to put down? Really, you want to know about your concrete slab and about your floor and what it's going to be used for before we start going into those types of questions. I'm Patrick Stillwell. This is Matthew Freeman. We're with Custom Coatings, and we're going to try and answer some questions for you. And we're definitely not professionals at recording videos. So, Matthew, what are some main types of floor coating systems?
That's a great question. So some of the main type floor coating systems that we believe that everyone should know about is going to be floor polishing, epoxy floor systems, polyspartic floor systems, and even urethane cement options. Lastly, one other one that I get asked a lot about is true non-slip floor coating systems, because not all flooring systems are safety grade systems.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next one would be, how do you know when polishing concrete is the right answer?
Okay, so polished concrete is really popular nowadays, and it's because it is extremely low maintenance, cost effective, and personally I think it's quite beautiful. The great thing about polished concrete is you never know exactly what the finished product is going to be. It's going to, every slab, every concrete is going to polish up slightly differently. You're going to have different levels of aggregate exposed, different levels of shine potentially. And so really the first thing to evaluate is my concrete able to be polished? If it is really damaged and really spalled out, we're probably not going to be a good candidate for polishing. We want to make sure the slab is relatively smooth, in good condition. We can do some testing with some hardness scales to make sure that the concrete is going to polish up really nicely. Unfortunately, years ago when we first started getting into polishing concrete, we tried to polish some really old slabs. They had a higher sand content in them, and man, we could not make them shiny. And it was a learning experience on our part. So we can definitely help guide you towards doing the right thing. Polished concrete is good, it's cost effective, low maintenance. There's nothing that's going to peel or fail. So it's really good to use if you're worried about potentially damaging it, because it's really hard to damage. Negative is it can be kind of slippery. So we need to know the environment that it's going to go in to see if it's right for you. So Matthew, when would you recommend an epoxy floor?
Yes, so an epoxy floor would be great for commercial settings where you guys want a solid uniform look. It is durable and it's very easy to be cleaned. It's a great, I would say, a medium floor system. With that being said, you guys can do also quartz and flakes that are broadcasted into the epoxy system if you want a little bit more pizzazz to y'all's floor.
I like it.
Another option that we put in there with the epoxies would be the polyaspartic. This will add even more durability to the floor itself. And you can even take it a step further with the broadcasting of quartz in there. That will add that slip resistance like feel to it. Epoxy is a great tool, but it's not always the final answer by itself. Where might urethanes fit in?
Okay, good question. So urethanes are very thin, first off, right? Urethane coatings are very thin, whereas epoxy coatings are much thicker. So urethanes are probably not going to be used as a standalone on a floor unless it is a perfect slab and you just need a thin mill system that you want to put on top of it. So if you have that body that you need, the epoxies are where you're going to start. The limitations of epoxies is that it is very scratch prone, right? And it's kind of soft actually, and they don't hold their gloss very well, and sometimes they don't hold their color very well. Urethanes are outstanding for those very specific reasons. Urethanes are UV resistant, right? So the light, the sun is not going to cause them to fade. They hold their gloss much better. They have a different chemical makeup, so they are very good about certain chemistries that you're going to be using in. If you have a splash resistance needed for whatever the environment is, Urethanes hold up to those really, really well. As Matthew was mentioning about the polyaspartics are a little different chemistry. They are often incorporated with epoxy. You usually would not incorporate them with urethane because they honestly can replace urethane. It's just that they're a much faster return to service. There's a little higher cost in using a polyaspartic than a traditional urethane coating, but you do get back on the floor a little bit much quicker. So urethanes and polyaspartics are different chemistries, but they both serve some of the similar purposes, and they're often used in conjunction with an epoxy coating system to add that durability and longevity. Oh, Matthew, I'm sorry. So Matthew, decorative flake and quartz systems. So flakes and quartz are an aggregate, a broadcast that you put into either an epoxy or polyaspartic base coat. They're just a dry particulate aggregate that you're going to spread into those wet coatings. The great thing about these types of coatings is they serve different purposes, and they're usually quite decorative. So you might see this type of a floor, say at the front entry of a manufacturing facility. We've done this in classrooms as well as school systems. We've done it some in the backs of facilities for durability, and I'll mention that in a moment, but mostly this is a decorative floor. So polymer flakes, they come in lots of different sizes. They're comes in tons of different colors, different patterns, and they really are a decorative, attractive finish. They help hide dirt on the floor. So if you're not cleaning your floor every single day, all the time, that doesn't really show up quite as bad because it kind of honestly melds in with that multi-spec floor. A polymer flake, once it's coated with either epoxy or polyaspartic or one of those types of coatings, it is relatively smooth. So if you want something with more traction, then we would use a quartz aggregate. Quartz aggregate comes in different sizes. Again, lots of different color options, very decorative as well. Quartz is actually also very durable, so if you did need something in the back for, say, heavy forklift traffic, or you're filling up a concrete slab that's got a lot of spalled out areas and you want to try and make it look uniform, then you can incorporate these aggregates in there to help improve the look of old, rough concrete into something that's very attractive and also very durable. While it is slip resistant when you use a quartz aggregate, it's not a true anti-skid floor coating system. There are regulated anti-skid floor coating systems. We can discuss that later sometime. So if you have one of those environments where you really need something that's truly anti-skid or anti-slip, we can install something like that. Matthew, what kind of mistakes do you see people make when they're choosing a different floor coating?
So several mistakes I see a lot of people making is going to be, they base it solely off of price. Cheaper is not always better, and I'm pretty sure everyone, even though they say they know that, they don't actually live by that. Another thing I see is they chase solely off of looks. Another thing I see is they assume all epoxies are the same. As Patrick mentioned, it is a broad spectrum of epoxy systems, polyaspartic systems, and other flooring systems as a whole. They do not test or evaluate the existing concrete. Like as Patrick mentioned, we will do testing on your floor to make sure that it is suitable for a recommended flooring system itself. So how does someone determine the right system?
Okay, it's really up in the air. Something that I actually mention to customers often is, I would like for you to give me a picture of who you would like the floor to look like. If you can show me a picture and say, man, I really want my floor to look like this, then we can usually guide you and design you into the type of floor coating system that would suit your needs, meet your color requirements or the look you're going for, while finding something that's right for the environment. So what you want to do is you want to identify the existing floor. We want to see the condition of that floor and what issues it might present so that we can make sure and correct those issues and provide you with something that's very long lasting. We need to understand the environment that the floor is going to be subjected to. Are we parking forklifts on it that are going to leak battery acid and cause damage to the concrete? Or is it something that we are just going to have pedestrians walking on and we just want something decorative to give them an aisleway, and it doesn't have to be crazy durable? We need to understand the maintenance expectations. How often is it going to be cleaned? Is it in a washdown area that's going to get wet continuously and stay wet? And also, is it something that is going to be used outside or be exposed to UV lights? There's a lot of different factors that come into play and a lot of different chemistries on the market. And those are all different things that any good contractor should be able to guide you through. So really, the ultimate thing is knowing what you have to start with and what you want it to end up with. So if you know the floor and you know what the space is being used for and you know what it has to stand up to, usually that narrows down this very broad funnel and gives you a clear defined answer of what the right system is going to be for you. So if you have any other floor coating systems, please reach out to Custom Coatings and someone here, especially Rihanna. She works up at the front. She's usually behind the camera, but let me tell you something, that girl knows what's going on. You guys have a good day.